Okay, students, we're back. Today we're going to learn how to do a foil weave. Now we're going to be bringing the camera in pretty close for you to see the detail about this. And the one thing that I want you to know about, that you have to use a weaving comb. Can you use a rat tail comb? Yes. But you can see that the point of the weaving comb is just a little bit smaller, not a whole lot. That's going to be the biggest part that you're going to use when you're doing a foil weave, is the very tip or end of the comb. The reason for this is because you can get a cleaner part. Now you can also do it with this one. It's not incorrect to use either one. My preference is to use a weaving comb. That's a specific reason for it. The other one is more of a, you can use it, it's great for sectioning. The rat tail comb is absolutely great for sectioning. Now what we're going to do on the weaving today, we're going to do it with water. Now if you can do it with water on dry hair, you can do it on anything. So let's talk a little bit about foil weaving, and it's foil weaving. Now there are some other weave papers. I'm going to reach up here. I don't care for them that much because they you can use them. Normally you can't really tri-fold them as much. I like to do in a tri-fold. Some people do a half fold. That's preference. It's whatever works best for you. For me, the half folds tend to slip a little bit. And normally people that do what's called a half, let me just demonstrate it. And you're going to put it on the waxy side of the paper. This is the porous end. This end is the porous end. It's dull. The one with the shine on it is the waxy part of the paper. That's the side that you're going to place the hair on. When you just do it halfways, what happens is the likelihood of it slipping out, all right? When you take the hair, you place it and you fold that hair a little bit in and then fold it again. You've got that hair locked in there and it's not going to slip out. So the paper or the foil, and I got all of you students just foil from the dollar store, and it's very thin. I'm going to show you how to slice it, how to cut it. The foil that I use in the salon is from Sally's, just these, all right? And I just take them out, pull them out. You know, they're not usually this wrinkled. I had it put away. And you're going to put one on top of the other, and it's going to be done exactly the same way with the other foils. But these I prefer because they're just a little firmer, a little stiffer. Okay, so...
Hold them up again, the box.
Say again?
Hold the box up.
Okay. Sorry. Salon Care, all right, from Sally's. And surprisingly enough, you can buy these at Costco. They're to wrap hamburgers in, believe it or not. But that's what we use. The person that came up with the foiling technique was a genius because it really saves a lot of time. But like I said, on the folding, and I'll show it to you with the regular foils, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do half the head first, and then as I travel down, I'm going to bring the other up. Now, one of the things that I talk to you a lot about is your time is money. Your time is how much time you spent on stuff gets to be a little crazy. Your foil should always be pre-cut. So you're going to take your foil, and it's a little hard when you get started because it's kind of, the ends are glued on. So just take that off and then, you know, pull it out. And I ended up having to take the whole thing out of the box. I had to take the whole thing out of the box to do this. All right, so then I put it back in once I got it organized. This is a little wide, but that's okay. You're gonna then slice it across, all right? And don't worry about that. Don't worry if it's a little bit off. And I've got some foils cut here already. So you've got your foils. Now, I've seen many methods in doing this. Your time is money. Some people get their shears and they cut the foil across. Well, cutting that foil across. Is that just a few seconds? Yeah. You can also just do this. Now, cameraman, if you'll bring the camera down so I can show it. I'm going to have my cameraman bring the camera down to this point. You saw me take that little edge off. I'm going to place it on a corner, and this is just a notebook. I'm going to place my hand on one side, How much longer did that take? And you're done. Okay, this box will give you approximately, if you do it in this form, 80 foils. Because it's 40 square feet. You're going to pull out about a foot, and then you're going to cut them in half. And you can also, if you have really short hair, that's what the cap frost is for. If somebody's getting it for the first time, the cap frost is what you're going to do. So there's a lot of methods to use on it. Now when we start foil weaving, here's another thing that I find that is taught that I don't, again, it's preference. You do whatever is easiest for you. But normally, when you're going to do a heavy weave that looks real thin, you're going to take very thin subsections. You see that? See how thin that is? That's like about 1/4 of an inch. All right? If somebody wants just a few lines, you might take a 1/2 inch subsection or almost an inch. By these subsections, what I mean is one foil is going to go here, the other foil will go here. So see, you'll have that hair in between. So when the hair rests down, you just see a few little lines. The thinner the subsections, the heavier it's going to look. The other factor is on how you weave it. Now, you're going to hold your comb just like you would a fork. Okay, you're going to eat with a fork, right? Hold it just like you would a fork. You are going to bring it in this form. The comb is going to lay down, all right? So practice this. You're going to hold it like this first. And do you notice it's straight? All right, that just becomes habit. All right, so there are some people that tell you, and it's not incorrect, please hear me on that. You subsection, and then you comb it out, and then you weave it. Okay, now I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm going to show you how to do this in just a minute. All right, then you're going to put your foil on there, and then you're going to bring this up, and then you're going to clip it, and then you're going to subsection, and you're going to comb it out, comb it out, comb it out, and weave it, and then put your foil on that, clip that up, or you're going to start from the bottom, either one. Let it fall, put the other one on top of it, the other one on top of it, doesn't matter. Either way, what they're showing you to do that's a time factor is this. Taking it out, combing it, then weaving it, clipping it up. Okay, again, taking it out. Okay, the taking it out is the eliminated on the way that I'm going to teach you how to do this. What you're going to do, and I'll start right now, the first thing you want to do, and many times what they do as well, they pre-fold the foils, all of them. And I pre-fold them forward. They have them pre-folded back, and they spend the time doing that, and they do all of this to put it in there. Okay, time consuming, time consuming. Is it wrong? No, it's preference, all right? So what I'm going to do, the very center vertex, straight down, like a mohawk. I'm going to take it, and instead of doing that now, I want to show you. Your comb, your weaving comb is held like a fork. You can either hold it in that form or the teeth up. Now, I may not be perfectly centered. You're then going to hold the hair down. Now you're going to take the comb and you're going to make a circle, move forward, make a circle, move forward, circle, move forward, circle, move forward. There's your weave. All right, I'm going to do it one more time for you. This is just like a fine weave. Each little hair is only about that much. Now, there's also, now I'm going to give you a lot of information all at one time, so please pause this. Look at it again if you have to. If you want a heavier weave, your circle becomes bigger. Now what's happening there, and I'll show you in just a few minutes why it's best not to do it that way. Now do you see where that has come down just a little bit more? And let's say they want a really chunky weave. Okay, you're going to go down even further, come up, circles, and still circles. You notice the weaving comb never leaves the head. And the weaving comb doesn't do this. It just travels across the head form. But this is what I want you to see. I want you to see that large gap right there. And I'll explain that in just a few minutes. My preference on a chunky weave is to still keep it fine, lift it up, but keep it fine horizontally. Now, do you see how much thinner that is? The reason for that is because you can get closer to the scalp. Let me put my closer to the scalp with that. If you take it and bring it down to make it chunky, look at how far away from the scalp you are in certain areas. You'll be closer to the scalp here, but in this area, and all it is a vertical as opposed to horizontal. So if they want chunky, that means they want it to be seen. So that again becomes preference for a client, all right? So let's practice this. You're gonna hold it down. And you can use your full hand if you want. You're gonna stay in the middle. You're gonna place the comb. You're not gonna lift it. You're not going to do this. You're not gonna dig into it. You're going to make circles. Circle, move, circle, and see the circle pushes down. See that circle? Move, circle, move. Now that's the only time as I went around the corner that my comb moved. Otherwise, my comb stays straight across. You're not going to do a weave all the way across, and I've seen some people do it. They do this whole section. So what ends up happening, this is rounded. All right, so let me pull this out right here. This is rounded. Then you have to turn around, and then what happens is you're going to put the foil there, so what's going to happen? The sides are not going to get as close. See, the reason for a foil weave is highlights. They want highlights, they want them close to the head. The reason for that is they don't want to come back 6 weeks later and have you redo it again because it's grown out. Here's another thing about foil weaving. Now like I said, we're gonna do it with water. You're gonna do a whole head with water. The reason that when you do a foil weave that you have to be careful of is the perimeter line. So let me loosen this up a bit so I can bring her up. So let's say that we're here at the perimeter line at the temporal area. Let me move that out of the way. And we've already done the whole back. And you can do 1, 2, 3. Explain that a little better. You can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And as it gets wider, you might do 4. And then narrow back down to 3 or maybe even 2, depending on what you need. It takes practice. It's not something you're just going to boom, get, all right? It takes practice. So it's best to do it on a mannequin. Best to be careful with it. Are the foils going to slide? Yes, they are if you're not cautious. Every single step I give you will keep that from happening. So let's go to the side. You want to make sure that you don't come all the way to the perimeter line. Because when they comb their hair back, you want a little bit of a visibility of highlights in there because the hair's going to move. But you don't want to see those highlights growing out right here. That's why you stay away. There's your why. And it's just a thin line that you're not going to do. So whether you do them diagonally, which we would do on this side, or if you do them horizontally, stay away from the perimeter line when you weave it out. In other words, that's going to be held down and you're just going to weave it in this form to come around to the side. All right? Now, I've had experience with this, so, I mean, I can just do it. All right? You're learning. You're going to practice. It's going to take practice, practice, practice. First time you do it, you're going to do it with water. What you're learning by doing it with water is the exact procedure on how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over in that direction. Let me situate this again. Bring this forward. All right, I know you can't see that, but all right. So I'm going to kind of stand off to the side. So the first thing I'm going to do, I want you to see it. So I'm standing off to the side a bit. I'm going to hold the hair down. I'm going to weave, just make tiny little chunks, and it's going to take practice on you keeping it uniform and even. That's not something you just automatically do. There's my weave. That's what I'm going to weave out, right? I'm going to weave it out. All right, now. So I'm holding that. I'm having to turn around here. Now I've still got my hair. Now I put my foil on there and I place it. So now can you see, and I'm placing it, I'm holding that hair down pretty tight. That comb is not moving. All right, I'm going to slide the comb out. Don't want to drop it. I'm going to have to get another one. All right, you always bring it out. And I know you can't see this, I'm going to show you in a minute. And then I'm going to press and bring it out. Now it's attached. It's wet hair. Then I'm going to fold it once, and I'm going to fold it again. Now those two ends need to do what's called kissing. In other words, they have to match up. Then I'm going to get my comb again. Have my hand underneath it, and I'm going to place the comb. I'm going to press it, and with my thumb, you saw how the thumb moved that over. Okay? I'm going to come over. Now you stay within those lines. You don't go to the middle of it. Stay within the line of the weave. Okay, there's the end of the weave there. I'm going to press my comb in, bring it over. Now I'm going to pull that up. There you go. All right, the next section, instead of taking this out, weaving it, combing it, all of that, it's already done. We're doing it on shorter hair because it's easier. The longer hair, you're having to go further back, and the likelihood of you moving that foil. Remember, you're just going to rest that foil on the top of your hand. That's it. You're not going to take it. You're not going to pull it. The only time you pull it, you're going to pull it out, you're going to pull it out sideways. In other words, horizontally to fold it. All right? You're not going to pull it towards you. You're going to pull it out horizontally. It takes practice. It's not something you just do. All right? I'm going to move my foils over here so I can just reach for everything at the same time. So I'm going to bring that down. Now see, there's my guide. I'm not going to go beyond that. And just travel around it. And as I do my little circles, the only place that the comb moved in the direction was as I started going around the corner. And you'll be able to see that once you practice this, and it doesn't matter whether the foil is shiny or dull. Some people say it does. I don't see any difference. And you guys know I've been doing this a long time. Take the comb out, place it down. Now, press. And you don't want to go to the scalp. You want to stay, you notice I'm a little bit away from the end of the foil. You want to bring it out. It's attached. Now what I'm doing with my water, I put my brush in there, and this is just a practice. That's called the clean end. You have product. I have water, excessive water on the other side. Then I take it and turn it and apply it. All right? Place it. Always wipe out. All right? And then you're not going to take it and do this. That's when the dripping starts. That's when all that starts happening. All right? So, I'm going to take this now, and notice, look at my thumb. I folded it forward. I did not pull it down. That did not move away. And the caution here is to make sure they're kissing. Now, I'm going to do one that they're not kissing so you can see when this is checked, what we're going to be looking for. All right, now see, it matches. Then I'm going to take another hair, and you're not going to go all the way down because this is going to be too crazy to do. But if you come down to the nape area, you want to tilt your head forward. You want to tilt that forward. So I'm going to do one more for you to show you what it looks like when it's not kissing. Now we want that line nice and straight, and that kind of helps you visualize it. Okay, there you go. Hold it down. Circle, circle, circle. See, I'm moving the comb as I do it. In other words, practice doing this first. All right? So, circle, get one, circle, get one, circle, get one, and see, it grabs it as it does it. All right? Now, I could also palm my comb if I want to, because I'm going to bring the foil up anyways. Place it. And see the comb? See the hair? does the folding for you. You don't even have to fold it over. All of those steps save time. And you know I'm holding it pretty taut because the comb is not falling out. All right, I'm going to push that up so that it's as far up as it can be. Again, I wipe the bottom. Oops, see how that slid? All right, now I'm just going to press, let it go, it's attached, bring it down. Now it slid down a bit. The reason for that is now we're getting into the rounded part of the head. So what I'm going to do is with my hand, I'm doing this, pushing the foil up and brushing the hair with that moisture so that it moves up. Now this time, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it uneven for you to see what we look for. Okay, so if this hair is left out, whether it's in the front or the back, you've put product on it. As soon as you fold it, the product has no brains. The product's going to move, and it's going to move up. All right? So when it moves up, that lightener is going to be here, or that color is going to be here. That much is going to touch this area from your previous section. And you'll have a line, a lightened or darkened or whatever line that's been made in the hair. And believe me, especially if you do it on the sides, can it be seen in the back? Only other people can see it. But yeah, it can be seen. It can be very visible if you're not careful. So be very careful that they do kiss. That's what I just call it. I call it kissing. But you want these foils to match up perfectly. All right? And yes, it takes practice. You're going to be stumbling around for a while. So on my next one, I'm going to go back to the top on the other side because you can see it better. Okay, so then you would drop that. I'm going to turn the mannequin. All right, so like I said, we're going to be going in this form. All right, so going to hold it down. That hair out of the way. See it?
I gotta go answer a call.
Okay, go ahead.
You're good.
All right. All right, so you see that.
Hello?
Hi, can I speak to Thomas, please?
Let's see.
Okay, so now you're going to, honey, go inside. I'm going to put that, put it right there. See it? I'm just holding it. I'm holding it. Holding the hair with my index finger and my little finger. Placing it, bringing it down. It's on there. It's taut on there. I'm holding it. Look at that hair bent. My fingers are tight on it. I'm not pulling it, but it's taut. It's called just solid on there. I'm going to slide my comb out. Now, if you were using the rat tail comb, it's a little bit more difficult. That's one of the reasons I'd rather use this comb. Sometimes what it does is it'll pull the foil a little bit. So now I'm going to take it, wipe, come here, press, bring it out. See it? It's on there. When you're working with dry hair, it's going to stay on there. I haven't touched it. Now my hand is flat. I put it underneath. Bring it out. Fold it. Now I'm pulling it out. Now my thumb is helping, and I'm looking at the top to make sure that it's even. And this is going to be the hardest part for you, to make sure that they're even. I've got a little bit of a length there, but it's not going to be that noticeable. It happens. Now I'm going to show you the difference between doing it this way and sectioning out and doing it the other way. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up, bring this out. Now one thing that you've got to remember about foil weaving, you also want to stay, come on here, stay up there. You also want to stay as close to the scalp when you're weaving as possible. The thing about taking it out, combing that down, take it out, comb it, and then weaving it, you tend to come out here. You tend to do this. Is that wrong? No. You can see it. It's not wrong. Why go through all that? You can do it here too, and that's even. Take it out. Hold it. Now see, that one step is avoided by simply bringing it down, doing that foil weave in there, bringing it out, and you're done. You're not slicing it out, combing it, and messing with it. You're doing it. So what you want to do is make sure, remember, place it, draw it down, hold it, press. You're pressing against the scalp. Now, I'm doing nothing on there other than holding my hand perfectly straight to give it a base or give it a foundation for it to be on. That's all I'm doing. I'm just holding it. Now that's kind of trying to play tricks on me. All right? And this is with water. If you can do it with water, you're going to be fine. So I want you to do a whole head. Now, again, it's moving a little bit. Don't worry about it. There you go. Bring it up. Pressed it up a bit. Okay, and it makes it a little harder working sideways because you always want to stand in front, and these are excuses, not reasons, in front of what you're doing. All right? If you go all the way down to the nape, and it's okay for you to do it. Now, that's a weaving technique. What I want to show you now, especially on, you know, if you're going to do a real fine weave on somebody and they just want a few lines, the best way to do it is diagonally. And this is so much simpler than going in. Let's see, I'm going to grab this clippy because I can't find my other one. All right. The thing about doing it in this form is you don't have to worry about weaving. But you do have, the reason you do it diagonally is because when the hair comes down, remember this is at an angle. So you're going to see more like a weaving approach to it. But it's so much simpler. And then you take a real fine line. See, I didn't even weave it. And it's all just that same hair. And I want you to do that at the nape. Now see, fold it over. It does the folding for me. I'm not pre-folding it. And those are areas, remember your time is money. How long is it going to take you to do this? Fold it. And fold it again to where they kiss. And on that, your subsections would be definitely about 1 inch when you do it. But you must do it diagonally. Can you do it diagonally on top? Yes. You would start at the center and then just come at this angle. That's a diagonal. Okay, when we do the top, let me bring the mannequin down a bit. And can you just see the top of the hair, cameraman?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to drop, and then see, as you're done with the section, you just drop it down like you do. All right, so.
2 minutes.
Oh, I have 2 minutes. I'm going to show you the cap frost on another video. So you would start possibly from the apex and come forward. Now this hair is not necessarily willing to cooperate. Oops, I opened up one. So I'm going to just kind of clip it back. Oh, I found some clips, right? And I want to bring this down for you to see it. And remember, we would stay away from the hairline. You would not bring it all the way down to the hairline. So we'll do our cap frost in the next video. So you would bring it down and do the same thing. So that means that these sides would come all the way up to the upper ridge. So the sides could come up to all the way to the upper ridge. Then you would take that area of the apex, start from the back and travel up to it. This is the natural fall of the head. That's why we do it that way. I'm going to take a foil, bring it out, there you go, put it on, press, get it on there, and people are impressed when you tell them, I learned how to foil weave, I did a full head with water. There you go. Now see my mess? Because I'm trying to hurry up here, but see, you can see where it left it. So when that lightener comes out, it's going to touch this area here. So that's where you have to be really, really careful. So then I would just take my next section and then foil weave that, but you stay. Can you add to it then?
Yeah.
Okay, can we go ahead and do the
Yep.
cap frost? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone first because I want to, okay.
You're going.
Okay, students, we're going to, we just finished up the foil weave. Our timer ran out on the camera, so we finished it up. I showed you how to do the top. You got an idea on the sides. Now, when you take her to the shampoo bowl, all you have to do with these, they slide right out. All right? So that's what makes it nice. Whether you fold them in half or whether you tri-fold them, they slide right out. Now, if you've got really long hair, you may need to open them and then grab this end of it and pull it and then slide it out. So in other words, unfold it once and then pull it, if it's really long hair. What I want to show you now on this video, which we're just attaching two of them together. Oh, I have another one right here. There you go. And then you're going to take your foils. You're not going to just set them in the bowl. You're going to put them in the trash immediately. Take your foils, crumble them up. You're going to be wearing gloves because you've got lightener. And you're going to fold them up and put them in the trash immediately. Do not just set them down like what I'm doing right now. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare this mannequin or this person for a cap frost. And the first thing you want to do is you want to comb it all forward from the center, right just about the end of the apex. Comb it all forward, comb it all down. And normally these are, there's another one. Normally these are done on short hair. Anything past the shoulders you don't want to do because it does pull. Anything, you know, you want a layered cut to do this, to pull through the cap. Pulling through the cap is normally done like once or twice. The reason for that, as you will see in just a few minutes, let me find my cap. What did I, there it is. When you put a cap on, you're going to be using your frosting cap, which is she's going to look like Snoopy, the pilot or whatever. And you're going to use a crochet hook. You're going to take your cap, and the reason that you comb it all forward, I'm going to explain in just a few minutes. You're going to bring it forward and you're going to gently pull because you want that cap as close to the skin as you can get it. Remember, the hair has all been directed forward. The reason for that, if I direct the hair back, and I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, you're always going to probably start from the center apex and travel down. Whether you stay within the upper ridge, now you're going to tie it up just like you would Snoopy. You don't want it too tight, but you want it snug. And they need to understand that, yeah, that's the reason you do that, is to keep it so that they, so that we can get as close to the scalp as we can. Then I'm going to bring her little bib out. And this is to protect her if you should get any color on it. Now, this used to be done with all lengths of hair before foil weaving came out. That's why I said that person that developed foil weaving. And it used to be done, by the way, with plastic wrap, believe it or not, when foil weaving first started. And every once in a while, you can still see some people doing it, very experienced people doing it with plastic wrap. You can see it happening. You can see it. You can see the color, all of it. The foil weave, you have to open it up a little bit to see what's going on. So what you're going to do, again, we're going to hold it just like a fork. I've seen videos where they do this. Now do that on your hand and see if it doesn't hurt a little bit. Okay, now do this on your hand. And you'll see that there is no pain. You just feel the movement of it. So this is piercing. This is not. All right? This is capturing the hair. This is capturing the hair plus scratching the scalp. This is just capturing the hair. When I saw the video on it, they were doing it on a mannequin, so possibly that was why. But on a person, you don't want to do that method. All right? So, and you know, the thing is if you scratch their scalp, and if somebody has really thin skin, or if they're very sensitive to that, they're done with you. They're not coming back. That's not building a customer base. All right, so you want to hold it in this form, like a fork. And here's the decision. The holes come about, they're all a little over a 1/2 inch square. So you can decide how heavy do I want this. The other factor is how much hair you get used to pulling out. That's where practice comes in. And that's where the type of hair that they have comes in. There's a lot of things involved in this. All right, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to hold it down taut. I'm going to find that little hole right there. I'm going to slide it across, grab the hair, attach it, pull it up. See that? Now let me show you the difference. All right, I'm going to scrape the heck out of her head. Okay, I got to do it again. Okay, finally. Now, do you see the difference where it's not as uniform? This came out really nice. All right, so consistency with this really helps. Now, your decisions here are, okay, if I do each line, that's going to be a heavy cap, a heavy highlight. If I do every other line, maybe a medium highlight. If I do every other line and every other line horizontally as well, that's a very light highlight. How far do I go? Do they just want it on top? Do they want it all over? These are all factors. The reason that you do not comb the hair back or part it down the center is because as we pull it up, let's say that I have combed the hair back. Some of this hair has traveled in this direction. So once I pull it up, let's say that I've combed it back, and this hair has traveled from the center frontal to the apex to be combed back, and I pulled it up. She's going to have that much area with no highlight. So it's not even, in other words, where if you comb it down to the fall of the head, you're more likely when you get close to the perimeter line to have that hair nice and close. What are other people going to see? They're going to see that hair pull back. They're going to see some short ones in there from the ones that are close. So this is where you have to be careful, and that's another reason you travel down. You've just combed the hair down. If you comb it back and travel down, you may be pulling hair from here that's going to mess this up. This will start tangling to come out of this hole because you've grabbed some of that hair. And you find that out as you do it, all right? So again, I'm going to take my hook. I'm going to place it, see it? Hook it, bring it out, nice and clean. Place it, hook it, bring it out, nice and clean. So in this form, the hook itself is gathering the hair. In this form, it just makes it that it's traveling with the hair. So you're not going to get that evenness. You're not going to get those two that are pretty identical. All right? Makes it a little bit more difficult. Now, what if they want something really chunky? All right? So you want to go in a couple times. That comes a little bit more. You can go back in, pull some more out, go back in, pull some more out, and you can see that that's a little heavier than the other one. But you're not killing the client. Now, you've got some little loops in here, all right? When you've done the entire head, you're going to take your comb and then you're going to comb it. And that combs out all of those little loops. You want to be aware of where that perimeter line is at because we don't want to take it to the perimeter line. So you want to be aware. So we know we are not going to go past this particular line right here of little holes that we're going to be piercing into. So when you're done with the top, then you're going to go to the crown. And then you're going to travel down, doing the exact same thing. It's not going to be different. All right? You're going to hold the head down when you're down. At the nape, you want to squeeze that in there. Again, remember this travels in. All right? So what would you be doing? You might be scratching her, right? If you go in this form. So you want to go horizontal at the nape so that you are still taking sections that are going safer to the scalp. In other words, I'm not pointing towards the scalp. See, that would be pointing towards the scalp. So once you get below the occipital and into the nape, if she wants it way down there, then you want to start doing it horizontally because that curves in. All right? So then when you apply when you have all the hair out, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to separate it. I'm not going to lighten this one. You're going to separate it, kind of comb it out, separate it. You're going to start at the center. Let me do just a few more to show you what I'm talking about, because I'm afraid that you may not get that information. Now see how quickly you can get with this once you learn how to do it. And I'm going sideways on all of it. So this is a really quick, really easy method. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in there and tighten my little head here so she stops messing around. Okay, and see this cap is almost too big for this one. So yeah, it's trying to move, and it will, so you have to be careful about that. This is usually done as well on dry hair. You want to make sure there's no tangles. You want to make sure that you've got it pretty even all the way across on your decision as far as, you know, what holds do I want to do? What holds do I not want to do? Do I want to, and you can see how it's starting to come out. All right. Do I want to just do a light weave, cap frost? Do I want to just do the top? So then you know where the parietal line is, because you can almost see it on the cap. So you wouldn't go below the parietal line. Maybe she's got short hair and it's too short on the sides. What ends up happening when they've got really short hair, you literally see those lines. You don't want to see the lines. You want to just see the highlight. And they'll be real short little lines. The same thing at the nape. If it's too short, you don't want to take it down to the nape. You want to keep it above or right at the center of the occipital. So in other words, tip of the ear to tip of the ear, horizontally. The reason for that is because, again, you can see those little lines, and it just tells on it. So you don't want to do that. So anyways, I'm going to bring these out. How much time do I have, cameraman? I think I've got plenty of time.
Oh yeah, 12 minutes.
All right, so I'm going to bring this out. Now, cameraman, can I ask you a favor? That right by the wax machine over there is, that bowl is covered with foil. Could you bring that over here for me, please? What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply gel. Now, see, you know why it's not pulling hair? Because my hook is down here instead of your hook needs to be facing up. All right, just like a miracle, see it? So your hook, I'm glad that happened, because your hook needs to be facing up. It should not be facing sideways. All right, so I've got some gel here, and I want to show you how to apply. I'm going to do it with gel. You really won't be able to see it. So let's say that we've got all of this done. And I also want to show you, I'm glad we're doing this, because I also want to show you how to take the cap off once you get her to the shampoo bowl. And I'm going to do a few here on the side so you can see it. Again, you notice I'm going sideways, doesn't matter. And I'm holding that taunt so that, and you can see that they're all pretty much even. And that, does it take practice? Yes. And the hook is doing the work for you. All right? So I've got that there. And I feel like I have to sneeze. Don't you hate that? When your nose is itching. Bless me. Should I sanitize my hands? Do you think the client will mind? I think she'll be all right. Do you mind, Mildred? Mildred, is that going to bother you? No, she said it was okay. Okay. So I'm taking that. All right, and I'm going to take a little bit on this side too. So you can see, I mean, I didn't bring it all the way to the frontal area. But see, I mean, they're all pretty even. And I'm doing pretty much every hole. So she's going to have some decent highlights on there. The reason I don't want to do it is because I'm going to be doing a finger wave on this. And the more damage on the hair, the harder it is to do finger waves. My students are going to start meeting at the school on Tuesdays now with this pandemic. I went and I bought them all shields, and they already have masks because I made about 500 of them. So sometimes they wear their own masks, sometimes they wear the ones that I made, which is perfectly fine. I don't care. Cover up. Cover up. We got to get rid of this thing. I think it's just very selfish of people not to consider others in this pandemic right now. And not, I mean, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to confess something here. I made approximately, I'm not kidding, about 500 masks or more during the summer. And I made some for, we did them for a church, for Mayo Clinic, and then I made a whole bunch for my students. So anyways, my husband and I go to the grocery store, and I'm walking away from the car, and I think, oh God, I forgot my mask. Now for somebody that made all those masks, for me to forget my mask, all right? So it gets crazy. We do forget sometimes. I should just put one in my purse to have it all the time. What I like about the masks that I made is I can put them in the laundry, put them in a hot dryer. You know, they're sanitized with that. And masks, aren't a fashion statement anymore. So what I did yesterday, because I'm going to be meeting with my students on Tuesdays, I invested in them. I have to be safe myself, all right? I'm going to be in what they call the front lines in this. And if I have to be with my students, I want to make sure they're safe and I'm safe. So I bought us, and you can get them, I got them at the dollar store, believe it or not. I was going to make them, and then I saw them at the dollar store, 99-cent store. The shields, plastic shields. And I see them on TV now. I see them everywhere. They were only $2. And the ones for children are $1, and they've got cute little bunnies on them and stuff. I should show them to you, but I don't think I have to do that. We don't know how far this is going to go. But protect yourself. Do something to protect yourself. This isn't for others. This is for you. You leave yourself wide open when you don't wear a mask. Some people say, well, I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to wear one. I don't care. Okay, don't. But you're leaving yourself wide open for what's in the air. You don't know that somebody else that just coughed as you pass by, and those germs are still lingering. We learn a lot about sanitation, the different types of bacteria. People don't realize what we learn in cosmetology. There is one bacteria that protects itself. It's called the bacilli bacteria. The bacilli bacteria, let's say that I cough on this mannequin. If I put sanitizer on it, bacilli bacteria protects itself. It immediately puts on a hard outer shell around itself, so that sanitizer cannot get rid of it. So I'll put my hand on it afterwards, and bacilli says, oh, there's germs right there. I can come alive again. So see, we learned this in cosmetology. So sanitation is extreme. The only way to get rid of or kill the bacilli bacteria is sterilization. In other words, extreme heat. What would happen if I put extreme heat on my mannequin's head or on my client's head to get rid of the bacilli bacteria? So what the reason for the mask is, for control. Control yourself, for goodness sake. Okay, sorry, I went on a tangent there. All right, so I'm going to get my little water brush here. And this is what I was talking about a minute ago. You're going to take, let's pretend this is color. You're going to take it, you're going to dip out some, and then you wipe the back. Now see, that's clean. That's dirty. All right? So the dirty side, oh, I'm sorry. Hang on a minute. I forgot. You got to comb it. Comb it, get rid of all those little loops that are in there, or else you're going to have a looped highlight. In other words, inside there's still some of that hair, and it's looped like that. That's what you're getting rid of. You're combing those out, and you'll feel them. You'll feel them as you do it. So you comb those out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm separating the hair to its natural fall, like I said. And then I'm going to take my color or my lightener, dirty, clean. Wipe your brush. You should wear gloves. You're going to bring this forward. Then you're going to take the end of your brush and pull it back. Bring it forward. End of your brush, pull it back. Now we're not concerned about the ends right now, all right? We're going to get those ends. Again, pull it forward. And you see I'm almost taking it a section at a time. Now what I'm going to do with those ends is I'm going to make a circle right on that little mound. Get some more color. Some more color. Clean it. Clean. Dirty. Now I'm going to make circles. to get those ends in there. All right, and you can see that that's covered all of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up. I've created my foundation, so I'm bringing this up, and I'm going to travel all the way down to do it if I have to. Now some of it, if it's shorter, you're okay, and then just move it around. You have to move it around, because if the lightener just stays, for instance, let me see, on the outside, those hairs down in the center aren't going to get it. You're gonna get some fumes in there, but it's not quite going to cook it like it should. So that's why you move it. You put it in there and you move it. All right, get a little more. Again, and always less is better, because then you're not going to drip it. So I'm going to bring these up. So see, everything is coming up. So all of that would be coming upward. All of that would be coming upward. And then again, making sure that it's all covered, you kind of zigzag it like that. And this becomes habits. You need to know what to do next. Now you notice my hands have not been in that at all. It's all the brush doing the work. Either the back end of the brush or this end of the brush. And many times when I'm doing a chemical, or cutting, I always keep a towel on my apron so that I can wipe or whatever. All right, so now, let me take this side. Everything comes up and back. And you can either start it at the crown and take everything to the crown, depending on the length of hair. You don't want it too long though. I mean, it's better to do a foil weave if the hair's really long, because one, it's not going to pull out as nice. It will not. Try it on someone once. And these caps have become easier. We used to have, when I first started doing hair, they were almost like a hard rubber cap with tiny little holes. They were reusable. And OMG, did it hurt to pull that hair out, but how bad did we want highlights? So you're going to put all of it to the top center, and then you're going to open it up. When you're finished, you want to open it up. The reason for that is the natural heat from the scalp could come through the cap, but sometimes when we're doing a highlight, we put them under the dryer. If you concentrate that dryer on that mound, those hairs underneath are not going to get the heat that you want. So that's why then you push them out. All right, once she's done, once you have achieved what you want, you're going to take her to the shampoo bowl. You're going to untie this. You're going to lay her back at the bowl, and you're going to start on this end. And you're going to roll it back. And you'll see those hairs just come out. You're going to roll it back. All right, and just gently pull, because it does hurt sometimes. Gently pull, and then another thing you'll do, again, take your brush or the tail end of your comb and gently bring them out. So do you kind of see those wet spots where the gel is at? Do you see how those highlights, if they were yellow or gold, would look? Then you take your cap. You've got that lightener in there. Now you see we've turned it upside down. You're going to close it, and you're going to dispose of it in the trash. That didn't necessarily come in here. It's all inside. So it keeps it sanitary for you. Then you're going to dispose of it. Not necessarily supposed to reuse these. Some people do, but you're not supposed to. You know, I guess you can sanitize them. It is plastic. It is non-porous if you're on a really, really, really tight budget. But you want to go ahead and just dispose of it. And every time that you pick up a box of caps, by the way, you get another hook. So you'll really end up with a lot of good crochet hooks. So you can kind of get an idea just by looking at it about those fine lines of highlights. Would you want it any heavier than that? Would you want it lighter than that? So that means you would pull out less. Holes would be separated a little bit more. So understanding the fact about foil weaving, proper method, and cap frost. The thing about a cap frost, you don't want to do it again, because how can you determine, I mean, you can, some people do, but you can't determine which hairs you pulled out. There's no way you're going to pull out the same ones. Where with foil weaving, as you pull the hair out, you can see where it's lighter. And you can almost follow the same line that you had before, but you're not going to bring it out to the ends. So on a cap frost, if you pull it out, the thing that you would do is you would not bring it out to the ends. You would only color at the scalp. However, then you would have little lines of lightener as once you did, if you did that too often. You would have little lines of lightener in different spots because you can't determine what you're pulling out through the cap. With the foil weave, you can. But a foil weave takes skill, takes knowing what to do next. Watch the video. Remember, hold the head down. You hold it like a fork horizontally and come across. You don't do this. The more you use your wrist, I mean, I'm assuming if you like carpal tunnel, just like, I mean, when I showed you blow drying, use your whole arm, not this. You'll get carpal tunnel. I mean, find out, look up what causes carpal tunnel. Overuse of the wrist, overuse of these tendons. So use your whole arm. Creates a much stronger person, believe me. All right, take care. God bless. I hope this worked out for you. I hope you get it. Students, please do your homework. We're going to be practicing this while we're in school on Tuesday. So like that, it's going to be fantastic. Now we're not going to be doing distance learning. I'll definitely be able to see what you're doing. Take care. See you later.